Alright, well, I'm gonna have to do this quick because not only am I very tired, but if I don't do this now, I'm gonna forget this entire movie. 1981's Home Sweet Home, which is also known as Slasher in the House and overseas as Blood Party. Directed by Nettie Pena and written by Thomas Bush. This is actually a Thanksgiving slasher film. But much like Blood Rage, Thanksgiving takes a back seat. It's it's not Thanksgiving themed. It's not like the Christmas slasher films where you have snow and Santa Claus and presents and stuff like that. We do see a turkey dinner. We see a cooked turkey, mashed potatoes. That's about it. Um, it actually even mentions here, along with Blood Rage. So technically, I would still say that Eli Roth's Thanksgiving trailer, the faux trailer for Grindhouse, is the most Thanksgiving slasher thing ever made. And probably still my favorite thing Eli Roth has ever done. I know there's going to be a comment that just says, I like Grindhouse, just because I said that. It stars Jake Steinfeld as our killer. I guess he had a series of workout videos in the 90s called Body by Jake. Here, he is basically like if you say, Mom, I want Lou Ferrigno, and she says, we have Lou Ferrigno at home. He's Lou Ferrigno at home. This was Vanessa Shaw's first film. She was 5 years old. I'm sure a lot of people know her as Allison from Hocus Pocus. I never watched that growing up. I know her as the oldest daughter in the Hills Have Eyes remake. She was also in Family Blood, which was an okay Blumhouse film. And a slew of other people. Apparently this was seized during the video nasty hysteria. I'm not sure why, because it's not really that bloody. It's not, well, actually a lot of the movies on that list aren't really that bad. But okay, so we had this guy, Jay Jones, he's a 26-year-old mental patient who killed his parents 8 years before. It was this huge televised trial. Committed to a hospital for the criminally insane. He escapes. He's this big muscle-bound guy. And he takes PCP and he's strung out for the whole movie and goes on a killing spree. And he is so over the top that it is ungodly laughable. I made fun of the killer in Hospital Massacre. The guy in Hospital Massacre is like Hannibal Lecter in his cell, calm and subdued compared to this guy. He is Michael Myers compared to Jake Steinfeld, because he is like, when he's not cackling and laughing, he's beginning of the movie, there's a guy in a station wagon. He walks out somewhere, pulls him out of the car, kills him, and then he just like takes PCP through the mouth with a syringe. Like he just squirts it. And then nearby, there's this big house. It's like sort of out in the middle of nowhere. The Bradley household. The home of Harold Bradley. And all these people have gathered for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving isn't mentioned once in this movie. I don't think anyone says Thanksgiving. But we have Harold, I guess our leads would be one of his tenants, Scott, and his girlfriend Jennifer. Um, I'm not even sure who the young girl is, Vanessa Shaw. I think. Yeah, I'm not even sure whose daughter that is. But there's this other couple, this guy, his girlfriend who plays like flamenco guitar, Harold, his son, who they call Mistake, who I guess he's a Kiss Army soldier, but he just looks like a mime and constantly plays a Les Paul and does magic tricks. And then these two other girls that are friends. Does that equal 9? I hope so. Basically, Jay finds his way there. He cuts the power to the house. Harold goes to get gas for the generator, comes across the station wagon, tries to siphon the gas out of it. And then when he tries to take the battery out of it, there's like this slow motion jump by Jay. But then it goes to regular time. He lands on the hood, crushes him. Which, when he lands, you see it shuts flat. And it almost looks like they just have a pair of pants hanging out of the front of it. And then the camera is just like, we see Harold from like the waist down and his legs twitch. Everyone's waiting around for Harold. Eventually, the guy with the guitar playing girlfriend goes to look for him. He gets in his car. Jay's in the back seat, and he garrotes him with telephone wire because he also cuts the phones. Which, yeah, they did Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the beginning. Huge 6'3" guy can hide in the back seat and then be able to strangle someone without being seen. The two girls that went to go get wine because there's no alcohol in the house, they get pulled over because they get lost trying to find their way back. Then the battery dies, so they get out to walk. He kills them. Again, yeah, even my lamp is just like, oh God, seriously. Uh, the then when his girlfriend gets killed, Mistake gets like food on her because they decide to eat anyway. So then she goes to the bathroom to clean herself off. She opens the shower. There's a body in there. Shows it for like 2 seconds. I was just like, wait, who the hell was that? I think it was one of the girls from the woods. Like one of the two girls from the car. Then he comes up behind her. Again, how does a guy his size able to hide anywhere? And he like comes up behind her to stab her, and she does this weird like face. Mistake finds her, then he gets chased, and he's running around with his Les Paul. And this is the only cool death in the entire movie. He is... Where the hell were they? Because watched it on YouTube with YouTube quality, and it's still in its old VHS quality, which normally I like. Normally I like the low VHS quality over crisp, clear 4K, just because I like the charm of it. He gets a hold of him somewhere, and he grabs these jumper cables, hooks it up to the neck of his guitar, which electrocutes him, and his portable amplifier. and we see it has to be animated or some sort of effect, but the guitar strings all light up, and then when they break, they just kind of hang there, but they're still glowing like yellow. I was like, okay, that's a cool effect. I got to give it that. And then, okay, so it's Harold's young daughter. Maybe the woman in the shower was Harold's wife. I don't know. Oh, and she was like, her eyes like missing or something. So yeah, that's the video nasty. um, Scott goes to get firewood. He sees a body. He barricades the house. Keeps Jennifer and Angel close. Jay manages to get inside. And then attacks Scott. She's able to attack him with a knife. But of course he revives, and he like pulls Scott through a door, then slits his throat in front of Jennifer and Angel. But I don't know if it was a poor effect or with the quality I saw. It just looked like he just went like this with his own hand. I mean, I saw the machete, but didn't really see any blood or anything. Of course, he's cackling his ass off. And then Jennifer and Angel hide. And then in the morning, she goes outside just as the cops are pulling in. Jay comes outside. He's got blood on him, blood coming out of his mouth, I'm guessing from the knife wound. He has a hard time going down when they shoot him because of PCP. One officer helps her in the car. The other one checks on him as he opens his eyes because slasher ending. That's the movie. Normally, when I go through the whole plot of a movie, I'm up to like the 20-minute mark. I gave a little bit backstory about the movie. Well, backstory, but like who made it, who's in it, and then did the plot. I'm not even 13 minutes in. That's what happens. That's this whole movie. This is as generic as you can get for a slash film. And not only that, this is the most bare minimum, little effort for a holiday-themed slash film. I could say the same about Blood Rage, but at least Blood Rage had fun with its characters, had fun with its kills, went all out with its effects. This really didn't. I mean, okay, yeah, it's got a good body count. It's got what? Okay, so 7 of the group of 9 are killed, plus the guy at the beginning, so we get 8 kills. Awesome. But there really isn't much to any of them but the guy with the guitar. And just, okay, maybe the hood death, even though it was pun intended, because we need something. It was executed poorly. And why feel the need to mention and put him on PCP if you're not going to do anything with it? Is it so he has a reason to make him crazy, even though you've already established he's crazy because he's escaped from a mental hospital and killed his parents? Is it so he has a reason to run around like a crazy person, cackling, screaming, howling? I mean, if you were gonna... The only time someone really fights back is when Jennifer attacks him with a knife. And yeah, he doesn't die. But, you know, if you're gonna have this big muscle-bound guy, put him on PCP, make a point of it, couldn't you have had each victim fight back? Each victim do something even bigger to him and somehow he still lives, wouldn't that have added something? Made it a little bit more interesting. So maybe even by the end of the film, you have this broken, beaten, fucked up guy that still won't go down, that's still going strong. I know that's a little extra effort. Okay, is this the worst slash film I've ever seen? No. I mean, as a slasher film, okay, it's got its body count. I'll give it that. The kills were well spread out. I'll give it that. I would still put this over the Boogeyman. I would still put this over a couple of the Christmas ones I saw last year that I don't remember shit from, that I get mixed up. Like Don't Open Till Christmas and To All a Good Night. They were both rants. This will be too. I might even put this over Final Exam and Night School as a slasher film. As a movie as a whole, it's a fucking cheese factory. That's what it is. I mean, this is what, like, Red Letter Media does best of the worst of, or, you know, I don't think of MST3K did slasher films, but this is the kind of cheese level they do. Can I recommend it? Again, if you have to see every slasher film, go for it. If you want something that you can laugh at consistently, I laughed my ass off at this one part. When Scott finds the body outside and he goes to let Jennifer know, he is literally screaming, like the way Dwight yells Michael on The Office. He is like, you can almost hear the vibrato of his voice, like, Jennifer, Jennifer, Jennifer. Then when he gets up to her, he's just like, Jennifer, like, and then tells her what he saw. But in fact, he just goes all the way down to just Jennifer. Like, I don't know. I guess you'd have to see it. Yeah, this is a poor, shitty movie. But as a slasher film, I do gotta hand it to it. It has its body count. It is spread out. It's not an effects movie. It's not a Friday the 13th. I know I say that a lot. You're probably starting to think it's the only slasher film I've seen. Well, I use it for it's pretty much the measurement for effects, because in the 80s, everyone was like, it's another Friday the 13th, or it's not Friday the 13th when it comes to blood and gore. So that's why I say it all the time. Yeah, I'm looking for shit to talk about at this point, because this movie really doesn't have anything. I mean, Slasher in the House is a terrible title. It's almost like if Tales from the Hood, like the people that made that did like a slasher film. That's what that sounds like. Blood Party sounds cheesy as well, which fits this. I mean, Home Sweet Home, if you're gonna go for like what Silent Night, Deadly Night did for Christmas, or even like My Bloody Valentine for Valentine's Day, then yeah, then use Home Sweet Home. But we haven't had that for Thanksgiving. If that wasn't a turkey, we would not have known this was Thanksgiving. And even who's to say that it still is Thanksgiving, because no one even says it. But this says it is, so I'm going to go with it. But there really isn't much to this film at all. It's still not the worst 80s slasher film I've seen. I'd still give that... I would actually give that to Boogeyman. I was very disappointed with Madhouse. Not the non-slasher film with Peter Cushing and Vincent Price. Why would I mention that? The one that's also known as There Was a Little Girl or something like that. So yeah, it's still not the worst 80s slasher film, but it is still full of fucking cheese. It is a bad fucking movie. And I don't give it the pass just because it has a body count. I'm just saying, at least it has it. And the guitar death was kind of cool. But, that killer was so fucking over the top. In fact, he made the Hospital Massacre guy look like Michael Myers. I can't believe I went off for 20 minutes about this. Yeah, I'm glad I did it now, or else I'd forget. But, yeah, thank you for watching.